Welcome back into the Sports Source. This segment brought to you by Topoco Lodge. Folks, do yourself a favor and check out topoco.com. The historic Topoco Lodge is something to experience for yourself. A secluded Smokies getaway, great food, outdoor adventure all in one. It's a terrific location right there on the river. If you want to hike, if you want to bike, if you want to kayak, whatever you're looking for, they do it up there. Or if you just want to go out and have a great meal, Topoco Lodge. See it for yourself. Check them out this week. I want to let you check out these guys right now. We got Josh Ward right here and two VFLs, Daniel Hood, Sterling Hinton. Good to have all you guys here today. I want to start with recruiting. Josh, it was a big weekend on campus. We have a graphic here. Now, these were 7 4-stars, according to Rivals, for the class of 2019, who were scheduled, supposed to be on campus yesterday. Now, you think one of these guys may or may not have been there, but there were tons more than this that were on campus. I just threw up the 4-stars.
Yeah.
It was a big weekend for Tennessee.
Yeah, it really was. John Emery had tweeted out the location, Mississippi State, but and that's something you're always watching for the weekend, who does and doesn't make it. But most players made it to campus, and that's been really the theme of the spring, is getting guys on campus to see practice, and then, of course, this weekend to see what's going on with a game-like atmosphere with fans at Neyland Stadium and what they're doing on the practice field, or in this case, the field at Neyland Stadium. But for Tennessee, I think everything that they're doing, a lot of it is around recruits. And last week when Jeremy Pruitt started to talk about trying to get fans in the stadium, it was because he wanted them to put on a show for the recruits as well. And those guys that you just listed and a lot of others that would be added to it, they're looking at Auburn, they're looking at Alabama, they're looking at Clemson, they're looking at Florida State. You're trying to beat out those schools to try to bring those players in.
Yeah, and I think that's exactly 100% where he was coming from on the where are they, we need to look in the mirror stuff about the fans. I think he's saying we've got to recruit these guys and I need your help. Where was your help? And most people around here would say 45,000 is pretty good. But I think that's exactly where he was coming from.
I think it was an atmosphere that probably impressed the recruits. I think they looked at the crowd in Neyland Stadium and walked away impressed with what they saw at Tennessee.
Okay. Let me ask you this. Tennessee also had another grad transfer prospect on campus yesterday, Nick Harvey, former cornerback at Texas A&M, graduated, looking to transfer. Josh, they've already taken Mondre London from Michigan State. They've taken Keller Chris from Stanford. Every time you give a scholarship like this to a grad transfer, it's for 1 year. Next year, the signing class 2019, that's 3 guys. If you take this guy, that's 3 guys that you can't give 4-year scholarships to. Is this team on the cusp to where, is it close enough to being a bowl team that you would say, yeah, it's worth it, let's give another scholarship here? Or if you were Jeremy Pruitt, would you say, I'm going to look toward the future a little bit?
Well, I think you have to ask how much of a difference does it make. And Nick Harvey, the cornerback from Texas A&M, the reason he says he's leaving is because he doesn't know that he's going to get a shot to start there. So is he the kind of player that would make that big of a difference? Shaq Wiggins didn't for Tennessee last year.
Right.
What we just said is it's about building for the future with the 2019-2020 prospects. This would negatively affect that. So I would not go that route.
Okay, now I'm going to ask Daniel Hood and Sterling Hinton here. There's a lot of talk coming out of a Friday Letterman event. I will preface this by saying 5 years ago on this show, they did a big welcome introduction meeting for Butch Jones. And we had a fleet of VFLs sitting right here on the table. I think you were one of them, Mike Stoll, Bobby Scott. Everybody bought into Butch Jones. They liked what he said. He said all the right things. Guys that told me before the meeting, I'm not going to buy into this Cincinnati guy, they walked out telling me he gets it. He gets it because he's welcoming the players back, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So, bottom line, VFLs typically buy in the first time until you lose a game. Your thoughts on how it went and what you heard?
I thought it was a great event. Anytime you get to hang out with all your former players, bring your dates around, and that stuff was incredible. The thing that I loved the most is that he had the full staff there, and that you really got to talk to him. I got to have a great conversation with Coach Fitzgerald about the weight room. I still believe that's where you win and lose your program right there. But the thing that I think I was most impressed with is all of the assistant staff really around him. So from your equipment managers to your training room to your football operations, he's got them to where they know that there's one goal. He's got the accountability. He's got the discipline that, from what they said, hasn't been there for a while. And I think, being able to do those standards in your organization, now he's pulling the fans into it as well. You're starting to see everybody on the same page. And I think when you have that, you get a chance to really grow.
Sterling, your thoughts on the letter? You've been to a lot of those things.
Been a lot of.
I expect you to say it was wonderful, but tell us why.
Well, they're always wonderful.
Of course.
Like I said, and for the main point, like Daniel said, you get a chance to see guys you play with. You get a chance to see ex-players. But I tell you, it's going to be different. I think the staff that Coach Pruitt has put together is a staff that are proven players. So you got guys that know what it takes. One is, I called him a trained killer when he was at Auburn, Tracy Rocker. I'm just saying. Yeah. But you got guys like that are on the team, on the coaching staff, ready to take the team to the next level and know what it takes to get there.
Was Pruitt comfortable in this setting?
Yeah, I think he was really comfortable. And I mean, he had to split his time. They had the recruits on the fourth floor. We were on the third.
Yeah.
And so he came around. We got to see all the recruits come through as well. It was a really fun event, and to really see what his motivation is. And, when you look at the team right now, you've got a lot of guys on the team that, really aren't big enough, probably aren't fast enough, aren't SEC caliber. And so he knows he's got to recruit. Everything he's doing right now is about bringing in that recruit because we're not very good right now.
You mentioned the weight room, Sterling. It's clean today.
I tell you,
There's nothing in there today.
Let me be clear.
Quickly.
I believe in Coach Fitzgerald also, but the weight room is there. All new stuff's coming in with the new staff, with a new way of getting our guys ready, and I believe we have a great season this season.
So totally new equipment coming into the weight room.
Absolutely.
So everything but the carpet. Okay.
Well, we don't have carpet. We have a hard rubber floor.
They replaced the carpet too. All right, there you go. Everything but the light fixtures, maybe. All right.
Light fixtures.
We'll keep you guys out here for a little bit longer. We got a ton to go through in a short time to get there. We're eastbound and down. Come on back on the Sports Source for those old people that got that one. Come on.